Welcome to Get After It, the podcast where we dive into business, investing, and health. Ready to learn and grow with us? Let's get after it.
All right, guys, good morning. It is Thursday. We got Mr. Josh Seiden in the house. Josh is a great friend of mine. I've known him for a long time, someone that really inspires me. He is a master behind the camera. He's been building his personal brand and really building the brand of some other companies. So we're going to dive right in. How you doing, brother? Welcome to the show.
Good, brother. Good morning. How's it been today?
Good. Can't complain. Weather's great. We're out here in St. Augustine, Florida. It is a perfect day, about 70 degrees. What about you?
Good, man. Yeah, it's a little colder. It's like 40 degrees. Went for a run this morning, had some coffee, made some food. It's a little bit earlier here, but it's a good day to be alive.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, so you've been killing it. I was checking out your social media. You got a big following now. And I wanted to first start off with what are you currently doing? I know you work at 2 Lane Life. Tell us a little bit about that and what's your role with the company?
Yeah, so 2 Lane, I'll try and tell the medium version. 2 older guys, they were riding Harleys across the country together for, 5, 10 years. Came back home with all these stories to share with their family, and they came up with the idea of basically building bikes, traveling across the country with them in a van and stopping at dealerships to be a marketing arm for a distribution company and sell parts. And my current partner's son has a very successful company in the hard parts industry, and he said, no, you guys are stupid. Start a YouTube channel. You guys can come home. You can share all these stories, not just with your family, but with the world, and inspire people to ride, which will then in turn get more people on motorcycles, more people buying parts, this and that. The latter of that was not the initial intention. It was just getting out and ride and sharing these stories. So they decided to go out on their very first trip and film it. And they got back and realized, oh shit, we have to edit this. So I was just getting ready to graduate business school. I was applying to internships, and I get a call from my current roommate who I barely knew at the time. And he just said, hey, my buddy's dad needs an editor. And I'm like, I'd only been walking for 4 months after a dirt bike crash on the track, as you know, because you were there. And I was just taking any work I could get. So halfway through college, I started doing freelance photo and video just to kind of quit the jobs you don't want to be working in college. And so I took it, started editing. It was, not what I was expecting, maybe cinema cameras or maybe higher end stuff. And it was iPhone and GoPro, but all fun stuff. So anyway, fast forward to now, 5 years. I built them a website. I built their store. I do all their social media, capture all their photo, video. I edit the entire episodes. We do 52 full-length episodes a year, plus some. Work with all of the sponsors that we are involved with, providing them with everything they need. Customer service. I'm shipping orders some days if we need to. We hired our first full-time employee maybe 9 months ago, and we're adding an extra 0 to our revenue this year, which is nice. So.
Nice, man. Yeah, that's awesome. So it sounds like, they got you when you were kind of just starting out with photography in general, videography.
Yeah.
Sounds like, you might have had a basis of an understanding, but you were no expert then. And it sounds like you've kind of grown with them and they've kind of grown with you. So you manage all their YouTube platforms, Instagram, website stuff. Do you do all that for them?
Yeah, up until maybe 6 months ago, I did everything on the web, and then we got a development team overseas to kind of handle that because it's only so much one guy can do, and when you're trying to scale, you gotta
100%,
make moves like that,
So,
as you guys know.
so tell us a little bit about that. You got you hired out like virtual assistants, basically.
In a way, yeah. We have a team doing marketing. We have a team doing data. So a background on the actual business and how we can afford to do what we do is we sell V-twin parts. So parts for Harleys and Indians and stuff like that. Through our distributor, there's, hundreds of thousands of parts that you can put on the website. that I used to do manually. I'd be copying and pasting titles and descriptions and part numbers and our price and their price and all this other stuff. Whereas for one of the teams we work with is the data team. They
Mhm.
can go find an API, get these CSV files, which are like Excel files, and batch mass import products onto our website, categorize them, build the site out. That way, when I need something, I can just say, hey, put this brand up, that sort of thing. Then we have
Nice. Yeah.
marketing. We have a guy in the States that does SEO. It's very knowledgeable, and not it's not what he does for a living, but it's a byproduct of his knowledge. So yeah, we work. There can be language barriers, but it's an interesting process to learn.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Hiring out those like mundane tasks, I guess I would call it, is essential,
Yeah,
especially when you're trying to scale. I mean, there's only so much you can do, in a day, and if you want to grow, you gotta, take the risk, spend a little bit of extra money, invest in some workforce. That way, you can focus on what do best, creating content and putting it out there. So that's awesome, man.
that's the goal.
That's
What,
awesome.
Yep. Looks like
Josh?
you guys have. Yeah,
What are what are you? So like, you started with them from day one. It sounds like. What are you best at? Like, what would you say is your best like the best thing that you bring to the table for them? Is it like shooting the video, talking,
I think
editing,
I think all
marketing?
boiled down. I over the years of repetition and learning how to make the same thing better every single week, um, is one, just capturing them in their natural state,
Hmm.
and not it's a little bit different than like a production, if you will. We're going out and we're capturing real moments, but at a higher level of quality than you'd normally see from like a vlog, if you will.
Hmm.
And with that, I think I've been good at just making it happen because deadlines are super tight. I took my first week vacation like a couple months ago in 4 years, and it's always just film, edit, release, that type of thing. So just kind of making it happen to the best of my ability in the time that I have.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it can be difficult to catch like the authenticity like in the moment, like keeping it
Yeah.
like real, like you try to keep it real, but you're on camera, so it's kind of like scripted. But if you can get that really authentic moment, and but with like 4K video and like editing and
Hmm.
shit, like that's super cool.
Yeah. And that's,
Yeah.
I think one of the main things I've learned with that is we got a bit ahead of ourselves with the equipment because you want to have the nice stuff. But when I have a big cinema camera that's rigged up in the size of my torso, and I'm walking up to you, maybe trying to start a conversation with a stranger, not you, but them,
Yeah.
everyone's not going to act like if you're holding up a phone for a Snapchat. So finding the
Yeah.
balance of which camera for the right scenario, and the goal is always authenticity, not to be some kind of TV show. In our case.
Yeah.
Uh,
Those
uh,
cinema cameras, what do those cost? Like 50,000,
Um,
10,000?
well, it could be, how much does a car cost, but you can build them out. So like the camera body we use is like 5 grand. The lens is 2 or 3.
okay,
When you get done with all that, it's under around 10, depending.
that
Yeah,
makes
they're not
sense.
cheap.
But you,
Yeah.
you could easily spend 5 times that for sure. I just don't need to.
So I know you're always freaking on the road. You're always traveling, always.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have gone. Where was the last trip that you guys went to this year?
So 2 weeks ago, pre-release, Harley came out with their 2025 year model bikes. We got on the NDAs and had a rep come with us so they didn't get leaked, and we rode them from Los Angeles out to Williams, Arizona, just outside of the Grand Canyon. We
Nice.
shot some spec stuff for the CVOs, which are the flagship models, the equivalent to an AMG of Mercedes, and then rode out to Monument Valley to shoot their Ultras, which are the touring bikes. So Grand Canyon, Monument Valley, which is on the border of Utah and Arizona, Zion National Park, all through there. It was 9, 10 degrees at times, a little bit chilly, but some of the most beautiful country you'll see in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So these companies are basically they're sponsoring the trip essentially, right? They're giving you like the gear, they're giving you the motorcycles to ride. Is that
Yeah, it
essentially it?
depends on the contract. With Harley, we're ambassadors, we're partners with them. So they leverage us when they can. And typically there's a budget for that sort of project, as well as obviously providing bikes. If it comes to like Bell helmets, for example,
Hmm.
they will send some new helmets that they want shot. We'll just take a trip as we normally would and add that into our schedule. And obviously there would be a budget for that as well. We work with a bunch of different companies in all kinds of different ways. Some is not
Yeah.
financial, it's just support in other ways. But yeah, there's another company that does rentals that we work with in a capacity. So we'll fly somewhere, they'll provide the rental bikes. We rode from Utah up into Canada and crossed Canada last year, just as an example. Um, just depends.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Uh, you've been with Two Lane Life for several years now. Sounds like you've done great things with them. Sounds like you're doing really, really well. Uh, Looking out kind of in the future, what's on the forecast in terms of, do you think maybe perhaps one day you could see yourself having your own, I guess, motorcycle aftermarket part company, or where do you see yourself going with that?
It is one of those things where if you would have told me how much work this would have been before starting it, I don't know that I would have taken this path.
Sure. Hmm.
Um, to an extent. I don't
Yeah.
know. I feel like I know that business very well. I know the marketing very well. I know the content strategy very well. Would I start my own? Probably not. 2 weeks ago, I started out and made the choice to begin doing freelance again, partially
Hmm.
because when it's your own business, as you guys know, you're bringing a lot more home. Um, and also just to refine my craft in a way that's outside of my niche. I'm not always doing motorcycle stuff. Learning a little bit more of the production side or getting back into that, I should say.
Hmm.
I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a thing I can keep up for 10 years, but I do enjoy it. And I'm actively looking for something that I can scale on a personal basis.
Nice.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I don't, just to kind of give you some ideas, and because you're from Southern California and you've worked ballet events with our dad and us and way
Yeah.
back in the day, there's a lot of weddings and events, and I mean, you got Hollywood. Anything you want to do media wise, it's in your backyard. So I feel like just pick your pick your category that you like and go all in on
Yeah.
it.
It's interesting. I mean, right after I put something out online, a major brand reached out that I already worked with. And I immediately signed up as a contractor with them, which is like, if you told me that 5 years ago, I'd be, mind blown.
That's
And
awesome. Yeah, good shit.
for
Yeah.
perspective, a day rate, and 2 days, 3 days after the paperwork went through, I did my first shoot. I'm bringing home more in a day than I would in a week, that type of thing. So I would
Yeah.
like to continue working with brands that are in my realm, just on a higher level.
Hmm.
I love motorcycles. I love the people in that industry and that culture, but I know there's more to it. So yeah,
For
I don't
sure.
know that I'm interested in doing weddings or things like that. I did one a couple months ago, but we'll see. I'm just rolling with the punches.
Yeah, and the great thing about what you're doing, Josh, is I mean, it's transferable for anything,
Yeah,
and especially in our day and age too, with our generation, like social media, um, and content in general. I mean, if you can leverage that to your advantage, you have such like you are so much on such a higher level
yeah,
than your competition. So and that's transferable for any industry out there. So that's awesome.
agreed.
That's awesome, man.
Hmm.
Looks like you guys have been doing a little content out there too.
Yeah, man, we're
Yeah.
trying to get Clay turned me on to this podcast like a couple months ago.
Uh,
The guy's name's Rich Sommers, and he has like a content creation mastermind as well as like a boutique hotel real estate investing mastermind. So we joined both because we're very interested in both. And
Yep.
yeah, dude, social media is huge. Like I used to be, you know, get off Instagram, you're just aimlessly scrolling, and people do that. Like
Yeah. Yep.
that's an addiction, but you can also use it to motivate and inspire and story tell. And it's a good way to hold yourself accountable. Like if you want to run a marathon or something, fucking post some
Absolutely.
pictures. Like I'm doing this marathon on Sunday. Clay's doing the full. I'm doing the half.
Nice.
But if you can post your goals and stuff, then people are like, "Oh, dude, like, how was that marathon?" And you can either say, "Yeah, it was great, like I did it," or you can be like, "Oh, no, I fucking quit." But but it's
Well, I
like
mean, you hit the
people,
nail on the
you
head
can
with
hold,
it.
yeah.
It's the story. And for you guys, maybe a couple of years ago when social was coming up, your strategy might have been, here we are in St. Augustine. You want to do this? We have that. But now I think the main trend that's happening in social media is everyone that's consuming and watching wants to know the story of how you came to be. They want to see the behind the scenes, the raw. Not that that has to be everything, but if
Mhm.
you guys put something together that was like, hey, we learned this business in California. We decided to take a leap. We looked at St. Augustine as a very fast growing city, a beautiful place to live with history, and we
Mhm.
just got some plane tickets and made it happen. That's the story. Or how did you buy your first lot? How did you get your first contract? Because people are on there mindlessly consuming, but if you can give them value in a way that's relatable, it's incredible. I mean, we do that in our own way.
100%, 100%. And it allows you the opportunity to connect with people. And yeah, once you build that brand and you get some recognition, then people are coming to you. I mean, you could just totally use it to your advantage. So that's awesome. We're looking to onboard. I mean, we're going all in on our personal brand, and we want to get
Yep.
like a full-time, uh, basically media manager. Like kind of day in the life stuff. They basically are in the office filming us on conversations going on. I mean, we like to walk. We walk every day. We walk around, talk business, strategize, look,
Yep.
we call it walk for dollars. We walk neighborhoods and see what's for sale. Um, and just like if you could film that and put it in a way that is appealing,
Yeah.
aesthetically nice to watch, then I think that would be really, really interesting to leverage. So that's our next move. We're trying to
Yep.
get someone on board for that.
I think that's a great idea. And something that has become a potential opportunity for me that we spoke on last, saw you in person, was me producing a show for another brand that is all me. But
Hmm.
he, but for you to go out and do it yourself, we talked about offboarding uh, tasks to people earlier. It is such an overwhelming thing to try and think about doing that. Where when you have someone, if I had someone just following me around with a camera, easy money. Like,
Hmm.
I'll make it happen. I'll be myself. You just press record and I'll figure it out later. So if you guys have someone filming you on walks, filming you in the office, this and that, and they know the story that you want to be told, or they know the story that you want to tell, then that takes the stress off of you guys of thinking about content when you could be thinking about 100 other things to run the business.
Yeah, we're just in
100%.
our element. Yeah, we're just in our element doing our
Yeah.
own thing.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, like we're not like that's not our expertise. Like yeah, we
Yeah.
we right now, like for example, Clay yesterday, we shot some content down the street on our walk, and it took him like an hour to fucking edit the Instagram reel and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's his first time doing it, and it took me an hour the night prior to do one also. But it's like my time is better spent with my family, with my kids, with my wife, or doing, real
Yep.
estate,
Absolutely.
analyzing real estate deals. So, and somebody else would love the shit out of doing that. Like they would love
Yeah.
to sit there on their Mac with a cup of coffee and make it perfect. That's not me.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I want to
I'm
find
not that
somebody
guy.
that, yeah, I want to find somebody that's really good at that. And the last 5 years we've been doing well with the valet stuff. So we have some resources to like onboard somebody and pay them a good hourly or whatever. So we
Yep.
just yeah we're going all in on that. And I wanted to ask you like, what do you think? do you think just like a content director, or like a media manager is like the person that we should go after? Or should we go after like a college graduate that's kind of like up and coming? Like who should we go for?
I think just because every generation is gaining this skill so much more efficiently, why, this is just my personal opinion, but why find a director that's going to charge you 5, 6, 7, 8 grand a month
Hmm.
to manage all this stuff, and then they're just going to offboard it to some guy who you could just hire and find. And maybe the first couple months be a little rough. The content will need some
Yeah.
refinement, but I think that would happen regardless. And with that, you're going more again for that story and not necessarily for the high production value.
Hmm.
Every penny you can save is valuable for something else. And I don't necessarily think it's just about the money, but I think if you find someone that's hungry and young and at least has that skill and can learn and
Hmm.
you can give some patience with them, that's kind of the winning ticket in my opinion.
I I agree. I think I mean, that's some good knowledge right there. You want to maybe find someone that's fresh, like maybe just graduated and they're hungry, and we want someone that can grow with us.
Yeah.
They're definitely not going to be
Yeah.
perfect. Neither are we. So we'll learn together. And yeah, this guy Dan Martell, I think you read his book. I saw you post a picture about it. Johnny, what was that book called? The
Buy back
buy
your
back your
time.
buy back your time. Um, there you
Yeah.
go.
Good
Buy
shit,
back your
man.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's like
yeah,
there's it's $20 that's like a lottery ticket that you bought for $20. And
Yeah.
if you can implement those strategies and some of the things he talks about,
Big time.
yeah,
Yeah, I've
game
been reading
changer.
up a storm, and I'm sure you guys have too. It's like there's so much time. You look at your screen time. If you're spending any more than like an hour, and usually I'll spend a little more than that just because I'm scheduling content for multiple brands and this and that. But if you can just set aside literally 30 minutes a day, which is nothing, if you just wake up 30 minutes earlier and read something like that, that was a really eye-opening book for sure.
Hmm.
100%, 100%. Yeah, his marketing manager basically he started off with him when he was like 17 years old.
Yeah.
Super, super inexperienced, had the base knowledge and has really grown with him. And now he's an expert in the field and
Yeah.
helps help brought him where he is now.
So another
But
one for you guys is The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. I'm sure you've seen videos online. The scraggly haired older white guy with white hair, and he is one of the most iconic, I guess, producers in the music industry. And he doesn't know much about music, but he knows a lot about managing people and the process of creating and what's needed to do that. So he'll work with some of the largest artists, whether it's music or painting or authors in the world, and kind of give them a reset and a recipe on how to optimize their creativity. So I've read this like 3 times and I'm on it probably for a fourth right now, but worth checking out.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, man.
I wrote it
Yeah,
down. I'll definitely check it out.
yeah, that's awesome,
What
man.
else?
Yeah, so kind of going into another realm, Johnny and I mean, we always hype up, staying active, being,
Yep.
staying fit, working on your fitness. From day one, you've always been kind of a gym nut and meal prepping
Yep.
and doing all that stuff. Are you still focusing on all that? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. I I trail run about 6 days a week and I lift 4 to 5. I did my version of 75 hard. I had a couple of late nights involving beer, 4 or 5 times throughout that. And I told myself I would allow that before then. Um, but the 7 days a week, every single week running, whether I'm on trips or home, it takes a toll on you. So now I'm working my way back into balance. I'm starting to see more progress with lifting than I even did when I was really into it, just because I'm being a little more methodical about it, doing it more for longevity than looks, and
Hmm.
Hmm.
doing it to feel good. And
Hmm.
when something isn't when you don't give yourself the choice, it's a little easier. If you know you're going to run 6 days a week, you wake up, there's no, I don't want to run today. You get home from
Yeah.
work, I don't want to lift. No, you say you do it, you go do it. And I think it's necessary to be able to function at the level you want to function mentally and physically. You're not going to have the energy if you don't eat right and stay in shape.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Especially when you're doing your own thing, you need something to structure you. And if you have
Yep.
that routine, I mean, routine is so important. Um, as I'm sure you're aware, I'm going to be going out of the country for like 40 days at the end of
I
February,
saw that.
and I mean, I'm not going to make excuses. I'm still going to be getting after it, but I'm just going to have to probably run around town and do body weight stuff like that, some air squats,
Yeah.
here and there, whatever. But yeah, we're still going to get that heart rate up and going to eat healthy, when I can, and
You'd
that's
be
that. So.
surprised. There's got to be nice gyms in Peru and Chile too. Like they got good looking people out there. They work out. Just join a little gym for it's probably $5 a day. It's probably cheap.
Get you a big heavy backpack and go hiking. I think it'll work out for you.
That is, yeah, the hiking, I definitely miss that. Being in Florida, that's the one thing I miss is the mountains. Being
Yeah.
California is so beautiful with all the mountains and hills.
So when do you leave for that trip?
Flight is February 26th. Going to
Nice.
first stop is Lima, Peru, and uh,
Okay.
and then I'm going to Chile shortly thereafter, and then Colombia will be my final stop. But I don't really have a return date yet. I'm just kind of sending it,
Even
come back
better.
whenever. Yeah.
And the Rolex is staying home.
The Rolex will stay home.
Just
Yeah,
double checking.
correct.
That should be awesome.
Correct.
I mean, I've been to Peru. The culture, the cuisine, the views are incredible. I've never been to Chile. That's on the list for sure. Colombia would be awesome. I think you'll be in for, I don't want to say culture shock, but in for the experience of your life.
100%. 100%. Yeah, and whether I mean, you're busy, you still got to make plans for trips. I mean, you still got to get out there, see new
Yeah.
things, experience new cultures, meet new people, and that's something that we really, really value. So, yeah, I'm glad we're
Yeah,
on the same page
travel
there.
travel is the best medicine. It's the best learning experience. I mean, this past trip that we did out to Monument Valley,
Hmm.
I'll try and keep it short, but a couple months back, we were riding back from Colorado. We stop at a gas station in Aneth, Utah, which might not even have a population. It just has a gas station, a couple of rundown buildings. And we had to take a phone call with our Harley rep. And it was like the only place with service. Sure enough, this Native American dude comes up to us. Hey, man, I watched the channel. Can I take a picture? And we're like, yeah, sorry, just one sec, we're on the
No way.
phone. So, and that was after two dudes from New York rode up to us at that gas station and said, look, they were a little more like ecstatic. But anyway, we meet this guy. He's a native that lives in Monument Valley. And we said, hey, we'll stay in touch. So we gave him a shout and said, we want to come out there and film you and your family and learn about the culture because his dad is one of the legends of giving tours in the valley, very knowledgeable guy. His wife manages one of the hotels that overlooks the views. But anyway, we
Mhm.
spent a whole day with them learning about their culture, learning about their music, their food, and touring these canyons that would otherwise just be a view off in the distance, and actually hearing these stories that were passed down for thousands of years back when before they were natives in the Americas. And I remember coming home from that just being like, I made all these assumptions about this culture, good or bad, and now that I've actually stepped foot and spent the time to invest learning in that, I have such a whole new appreciation for the area, for them as people. And I don't mean like, what do you mean, you people? You get me, but um, just everything about it. And you feel so alive after that sort of thing. So you're Peruvian, you know a lot about that culture, but I think immersing yourself in that, talking to strangers and learning, even just socially, everything is different. Stuff we do in America is different than China, personal space, that type of thing as an example. And it just helps you become more of a well-rounded person, businessman, it's all good stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, so that's cool, man. So you're really you're killing it. You're crushing it. You're working on your brand, and it sounds like you got a lot of big things ahead of you. Where can people find you?
Let's see. On Instagram, my tag is I'm Riding Places, the letter I, letter M, I'm Riding Places. The brand is Two Lane Life, number two, LANELIFE. TwoLaneLife.com is our website as well. And I'm working on building my own website and stuff like that again. And yeah, that's about it.
Cool,
Nice,
brother.
man.
Well, yeah,
We're excited for you. If you need any recommend, any advice or whatever, we happy to collaborate.
Absolutely. I'll
yeah.
keep an eye out for a hungry young dude who works with cameras too. So
Awesome,
Thank
brother.
you.
Well, hey, yeah, thank you, Josh, for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure chatting it up with you. And next time
absolutely.
you're in Florida, give us a ring and we'll connect. And until next time, we'll see you. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, I'll give you a shout. Appreciate it, boys.
All
Later,
right, brother.
Josh. Thanks,
Take
man.
care.
Yeah, take care.
Peace.